If you're like most people, there's a gap between who you are now and who you want to become. There are small habits you feel you should adopt and big achievements you aim for. Whether it's exercising regularly, eating better, learning a new language, working on your book, reading more, or simply engaging in your hobby instead of scrolling through Reddit. But sometimes it feels like to reach your goals, you need to transform into a different person. Someone consistent, dedicated, disciplined, and full of willpower. Maybe you gave it your all to be that person. And it worked, at least for a while, until you notice yourself falling back into old routines. Eventually, you seem to fail every time. With each failure, frustration and self-disappointment grow stronger. If you trust the success and hustle culture online, it's all your fault. If you don't succeed, it means you didn't want it badly enough and the blame is yours alone. But real change is difficult. And like with most things in life, understanding why can make it easier. Imagine your brain as a thick, wild jungle. Navigating it, say, making a decision to act, is like trekking through an actual jungle. It's challenging and consumes energy. Your brain hates spending energy, so it devised a clever shortcut. Every action you take creates a path in the jungle of your mind. When you start doing something new, you crush some plants and form rough trails through the undergrowth. The more you repeat it, the clearer that trail becomes. Over time, that trail turns into a path easier to follow, so you take it more often until it becomes a street. Repeating the action year after year, the street evolves into a highway. Traveling this highway feels effortless, familiar, and comfortable. The stronger your brain's highways, the more you seek their ease. That's why we keep doing what we've always done. This is why changing as an adult is tough. Your mental jungle is already filled with many well-worn streets and highways. To grasp how these highways form, we need to separate two concepts: routines and habits. The things you do, routines and habits. A routine is a set of actions done the same way every time because they work well for you. For instance, you buy the same ingredients for your favorite meal and cook them in a certain order because you enjoy the result. Or you set an alarm for 6:30 p.m. before going to bed because that's when you want to wake up. Think of routines as actions planned by a wise strategist. Slow and thoughtful, this planner handles strategizing and mental calculations. It considers the future carefully and selects actions to reach desired outcomes, even if uncomfortable, like showering right after waking up. Over time, routines can develop into habits, which feel easier because they're sequences performed automatically without much thought. You've done them so many times before that your brain associates them with rewards and positive responses to situations. Habits feel like autopilot. You don't have to persuade yourself to do them, you just do. The key thing about habits is that they're triggered by cues, context signals, either a single item or whole situations, telling your brain to start the behavior. You already have many triggers in your life. When you see your phone, you almost always unlock it. Or when you get into a car, you automatically reach for the seatbelt. Or when buying coffee before work, you also grab a cookie, even if you're not hungry. Habits are controlled by an impulsive toddler inside you. This toddler acts on immediate desires based on surroundings, ignoring long-term goals. For the toddler, the future doesn't exist and hard work is hated. So when it senses a trigger, it leads you down an easy brain path toward a familiar, rewarding outcome. If you get coffee, the toddler also wants the cookie, simply because that's what happens every morning. This rewarding sensation explains how most bad habits form. Chocolate tastes good. Browsing Reddit can be mildly entertaining. That's why you repeat these actions even if they harm you. The pleasurable feelings linked to an action demand repetition, creating bad habits. Although the toddler may sound like a built-in self-sabotage system, it's as necessary as the wise planner, and usually they cooperate. You need the wise planner for big ideas, parallel parking, or doing taxes. But letting the planner manage everything would drain too much energy. Delegating routine, repetitive tasks to habits, managed by the toddler, helps your brain handle daily life effortlessly while focusing on complex challenges. So if we want change and new behaviors, we can actually use these energy-saving tricks to make it easier. We focus on small steps, not big leaps. Improving your life bit by bit beats aiming high and changing nothing, especially since small changes add up over months and years. How to build a habit. If you want change to be easier, the best approach may not be forcing it with willpower but convincing your brain it's no big deal, by creating new routines that turn into habits. You want your wise planner to build the first trail and your toddler to effortlessly initiate the action. Suppose you want to exercise more, a common goal. First, break down this vague aim into clear, manageable actions. Make the action itself as easy and specific as possible so you don't overthink it. For example, do 10 squats each morning is a concrete, controllable step. Start by establishing a routine but include clear triggers your toddler can learn to recognize. Remember, a trigger is simply a signal always linked to the action. Can be visual, like seeing your workout clothes or a time of day, or a place like a nearby park, ideally a combination. The crucial part is always starting the action in the same context. This trigger acts as a start button that eventually activates the behavior automatically. To form a home workout habit starting with 10 squats, make sure you always wear your exercise gear and do them in the same spot and time. Say your living room at 8 a.m. Once you have your trigger and action, just repeat them regularly, preferably daily. Over time, they will shift from routine to habit, from trail to highway. Don't misunderstand. The squats will still require effort, but deciding to do them will feel less like a burden and more like a normal part of your day. Simple but not easy. Many habits you want don't provide instant pleasure like Reddit browsing does. To make new actions easier to repeat and more toddler-friendly, try to enjoy the action itself, not just reward yourself afterward. For example, listen to your favorite podcast while working out, or tackle taxes while waiting for your computer. Find what works for you. That's basically it. Frustratingly simple, like most ways to improve your life. How long it takes for your toddler to take over and form a habit varies greatly. It depends on the habit, your personality, stress, and more. It can take anywhere from 15 to 250 days for a habit to become automatic. You won't know how long for you. Starting is the easy part, especially in the first week or two. Continuing daily is the hard part, but it becomes easier as you go on. There are no magic shortcuts for change, but habit science reminds us it's possible, no matter your age. Even doing a little more good or learning a few new things counts as success. Being a bit healthier or smarter is far better than being unhappy and changing nothing. In the end, change is a path, not a destination. Now that we hopefully gave you some insight and motivation, it's time to offer you something. But know this, you don't have to buy anything to improve yourself. That said, we struggle with change too, so we created our own habit journal for ourselves and for you. Before printing, we tested it and got feedback from the Kurzgesagt team. It helps you track habit progress for your desired behavior. It includes a tutorial guiding you through the hardest part step by step. You'll get useful tips, reflect on progress, and learn how to make things easier. After the tutorial, habit journaling begins, mixed with examples, science breaks, and reflections to keep your journey interesting. Like our gratitude journal, it's cloth-bound with an embossed hardcover, printed on quality paper, pleasant to touch and full of beautiful illustrations. This book will be your companion on your change journey, big or small. Buying from our shop supports Kurzgesagt and what we do here. Thanks for watching.